Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about ASML. I used to think your ASML's most was its technology, because they make the only EU lithography machines on Earth and nobody else can do it. End of story. Then I looked closer and I realized that the technology, yes, it's really insane. But it's actually the surface layer. The real moat is something else entirely. It's a network of relationships that took them 30 years to build, and it's the reason this company can survive anything I throw at it. A Chinese national EUV program, an oil crisis, or even Elon Musk himself trying to build its own chip factory. And let me show you what I mean. So, firstly, let's make sure we are on the same page about what a lithography machine does. Because if you don't understand this, the mode won't make sense. Okay, let's firstly think of an old school slide projector. You put a transparent slide in, light shines through it, and an image appears on the wall, right? And a lithography machine does the same thing, except in reverse. Instead of enlarging an image, it shrinks a circuit pattern down and project it onto a silicon wafer coated with light-sensitive material. The light hits the wafer, a chemical reaction happens. You wash away the exploded parts, and you are left with the circuit pattern physically attached into silicon. Repeat this process like 80 to 100 times, layering patterns on top of each other, and after that, finally, you got a chip. Okay, simple concept, but that's impossibly hard execution. The features on today's most advanced chips are like 3 wide. To put that in a perspective, like a human's hair is about like 80,000 nanometers. So we are printing lines that are 27,000 times thinner than a hair, and there's hard physics limit on how small you can print, the wavelength of the light itself. So, for example, you can draw a line thinner than your marker tip. So, for decades, the industry used deep EU, this UV light at like 193 mm, and then they squeeze it down to 7 nm features using every trick in the book, shooting light through the water and printing the same layer 4 times. But by 2015, the DUV has been completely tapped off. The only path forward was extreme ultraviolet, the EUV, the EUV. The wavelength is like the 13.5 mm, so 40 times shorter. But here's the problem. 30.5 nanometers light gets absorbed by almost everything. Air absorb it, glass absorb it, water absorb it. You can't use lens. The light won't pass through. So you have to use mirrors in a vacuum, and these mirrors made by Carl Zeiss have to be polished so precisely, right? That you scale one up to the size of Germany. The tallest bomb on the surface will be 1 millimeter across the entire country. And how do you even generate 30.5 nanometers light? You can use a bulb, right? So ASML solution is like fire or 50,000 watt CO2 laser at a job lab of molten thing at 50,000 times per second. Each job lab is 25 microns across. So when the laser hits, the thing exploded in a plasma that emits EUV light. And this happened inside a machine the size of a bus, weighing like around 180 tons and costing $380 million. And that's ASML. And on the earth, just one company can build it. That is ASML. They got 100% market share in the EUV. And now most people stop here. They think, okay, the Moat is the technology, right? The ASML can build it. Nobody else can get over. But I think that's the half right. The half that is wrong is the more interesting part. That is the hidden behind ASML's real moat. And here is what I missed when I first looked at ASML. Only 50% of an EUV machine is built by ASML Excel, which means that the other 85% comes from external suppliers. But every single critical supplier is the only one in the world that can make that component, and they only sell to ASML. Firstly, the first one is called Zeiss. Um, they make the mirror system. The ASML owns about 25% of a semiconductor optics division. They have been like developing these mirrors for decades, and the Zeiss won't sell them to anyone else, not because of a contract clause, but because of the technology was jointly defined. Without ASML specification, the mirror itself are useless to anyone else. And the second one is Trumpf, the German company that makes the CO2 lasers that vaporize the thin droplet. And this isn't like the off-the-shelf industrial laser. It was the purpose built through decades of joint R&D with ASML. And Trumpf sell the laser to exactly just one customer, ASML. And the third one is the Cymer. They are the pioneer of the laser-produced plasma light source technology, and ASML acquired them in 2013. So that's how you can see how that's their partner, their three important partners, and it's very hard to find a substitute. And that is why I said before, like the technology itself isn't just a mode. They have another mode. That is their partners. They have a 30-year supplier graph with different kind of ownership, and they have different kind of joint development and some exclusive relationship. And there's no fast forward button for that, right? And after that, I would like to talk about the Terafab. 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, Elon Musk himself announced Terafab is a $20 to $25 billion vertically integrated chip factory. It will be in Austin, Texas. The vision there is very ambitious. They would like to design a lithography, fabrication, memory production, advanced packaging, and testing all under one factory. And the first product would be like Tesla's AI 5 chip for self-driving and robotics. Um, and last week, Intel CEO, this gentleman, he officially joined this project. He called it a step change in how silicon, logic, memory, and packaging will be built in the future. So now you have Elon Musk capital, Intel's manufacturing expertise, Tesla and SpaceX as a anchor customer. That is like a serious collaboration. But here's the thing: everyone is missing. Terafab, they would like to do a 2 nanometer. Okay, to do the 2 nanometer, you need a really high-end EUV lithography technology. And that is the next generation of EUV, even more advanced than what is shipping today. And guess how many companies can make a high EUV machine? Just one, ASML. So my prediction will be like the ASML will join this project maybe in like next 2 or 3 months, or in next year. And I don't think they are just a supplier. They are not just the company who take order. They would like to be a partner sitting at a table, because Elon Musk doesn't want to like just wait in line. when he needs something, the only entity in the world can provide. He doesn't just place a purchase order. He brings that together in the tent, and that is what happened with Intel, and that is what will happen with ASML. And think about what that means. If ASML becomes a Terafab partner, it's no longer just the company that sells lithography machine. It becomes like a co-architect of the next generation of the chip manufacturing. The moat goes from deep to bottomless. And by the way, China has been running like same kind of program. It's like a national EUV program with Huawei, and it consists of like 37 billion euros in government's funding, and a collaboration between the university and some state labs. So they are trying to use other different kind of technology. It's called the LDP instead of ASML's approach. But I think they still have a long way to go to catch up with ASML. And then we are going to talk about this one. Because we know geopolitics is always a very important factor in my channel, and we have to talk about that. The Strait of Hormuz has been like closed since mid-March, and about 20% of global oil supply is offline. This I think it is the biggest energy destruction since 1970s. So the instinctive reaction is like, okay, oil shock, inflation, rate hikes, capacity cuts. So it's really bad for the semiconductor equipment, and for the most industrial company, that logic chain holds. But for the ASML's customer, I don't think it's the same case. Because so firstly, ASML they sell to TSMC, Samsung, Intel, SK Hynix, and their biggest downstream customer are the hyperscalers, the Google, the Microsoft, Meta, Amazon. In this company, they fund their AI infrastructure with their free cash flow right now, not that. And Google, they generate over 80 billion a year in cash, and their AI capacity like isn't interest rate sensitive. And more importantly, the AI arms race will not stop, right? No hyperscaler will post their next generation model training because of the oil, right? The cost of the falling behind in AI is essential for this company. Um, and and ASML Excel is also based in Europe. Like Zeiss, Trumpf are all in Europe, so their supply chain right now is okay. It's not really depend on this route. So for now, I think they are still okay. And after that, we are going to talk about the TSMC and ASML, because a lot of people will compare ASML to TSMC, because both like have nearly 100% share at the leading edge. Both are irreplaceable, but I think the mode are different. So TSMC's mode is physical. You need $40 billion. You need a 20-year learning curve and tens of thousands specialized engineers. And it's a massive wall, but it has a door. Intel is trying to walk through it, and Samsung is trying. But how about ASML? ASML's mode, it include the technology, and also it include the relationship. You need Zeiss agree to build mirror for you, and you need Trumpf to could develop a laser system from the scratch, and also you need a 30-year to build out the integration and cooperation. And I don't think this wall is very easy to open. So and then ASML's revenue is roughly a third of TSMC's, but its mode might actually be deeper from my perspective, because TSMC's barrier is kind of replaceable in theory, but ASML's barrier it is not replaceable at any price because the supplier themselves a single source and contractually exclusive. So you can see this picture. This is like the whole picture. I think ASML is in a very key so choke point. So from the upstream, you got a physical scarcity from their partners, and after that, they sell their products to like TSMC, Samsung, Intel, and and the whole roof refer to the AI race itself. Um, that is my picture for the ASML. And of course, we are going to talk about the risks of ASML. The first one is the high MA adoption delays. So if Intel and Samsung, if they struggle with their advanced node, I think it might push the ASML's growth curve out. And secondly, that is the Taiwan conflict. So we know TSMC is ASML's largest customer. So if something happened in Taiwan, maybe it will hurt TSMC. And thirdly is China, because China's right now is spending large money to build out their own EUV program. So it might be a factor. And lastly, uh, it will not have a huge effect to the ASML, but if they can be the partner with Terafab, they can, it will be better for TSML. So I think ASML's mode is just not their technology itself. They have a strong relationship with their partner. It's also a 30 years partnership, and it's a great thing for them. And it is another level of mode for ASML. And that's it. That's today's video. Please subscribe and like. See you in next video. Thank you.